Hey guys, how y'all doing today? Coming to you live from inside the trailer. Glad to be alive. Uh, I guess I wanted to make this video just to tell people about what happened that day. A follow up. Let people know, the most important thing you can do when you're having a heart attack is take it serious. So we'll go through the day. It was a normal day. We were around the house. We had done some fire starting. Had just taught the one of my kids how to use the striker steel and start a fire. Real proud of him that day. We grilled some hot dogs on the grill. I was bringing the hot dogs in and wanted to go out, warm up some onions on the grill. And while I was doing that, I got hot. Well, was above 80 that day, unseasonably warm. Had been cold that morning, and I had been wearing a sweatshirt. Now you can see that in the solar video as it goes throughout the day. But I started sweating, so told myself, well, maybe it's because I'm right here by the fire, got a little smoke in my face. Let me get these onions off, take them inside, and that's what I did. So I went inside, put the food down, sat down, had my wife, she asked me if I felt okay, and I was like, I'm just hot. So I got a towel, was wiping my forehead off, and sat there for a few minutes in my chair. Went ahead and took 481 milligram aspirin just in case. In the back of my head I was like, maybe it's a heart attack, maybe not, maybe I just don't feel good. So I got to feeling better, and I went outside, did the final scene for the solar panel video, and put all my stuff up, stuck it in the trailer, closed it up, brought the camera inside, took the camera out of the tripod, sat it on the table, and sat down in my chair again. Everybody was eating. My wife asked me, are you going to have something to eat? And I looked at her and I said, no. I said, I'm going to call 911. And she said, what? What's wrong? And I said, I don't feel good. So I went ahead and called 911. When they answered, by that time in my head, I had decided this was a heart attack. 911 operator asked me where my, for those of you that never had to call 911, the first thing they ask you is, where is your emergency? So I give them my address, and they ask, what's going on, or what's the nature of your problem? And I immediately told the dispatcher, I'm having another heart attack. So at this point, the wife panics. She hears what I say, and I'm trying to stay as calm as possible. The dispatcher finished getting the information and said they'll be on their way, and I hung up. So my wife asked if I needed anything. What could she do? What could she do? And mind you guys, we both have a background in EMS. I have a background in fire. She still works at a doctor's office. So I told her pretty much nothing. We're waiting on the truck. So I live less than a mile from the ambulance station. And I told her, just calm down. They'll be here in a minute. And I can take you. They might not be. I said, they're in quarters. I can hear the siren. So at this point, all the kids were in the room, and I didn't want to scare them any worse than the situation already was going to scare them. So I told her to send them to their rooms. Well, having an EMS background and knowing, I've got 4, maybe 5, I'm not sure right now, stairs on my porch, and having to come past the couches, and having the dogs in the house, I went outside. I said, I'm going to go sit on the porch and wait for her. So she came with me, and by the time I took those few steps and sat down on the front porch, I got dizzy. Um, and I laid back. I felt like I was going into shock. Short of breath. Still didn't have any real chest pain. I had pain in my shoulder, pain in my arm, a little bit of pain in my neck. And so I laid back, and at that moment, and this doesn't happen often, in my head I told myself, this is it. You will not get up from this again. You're going to die. Still had to stay calm. I believe, based on what I remember and what she told me, that I lost consciousness, passed out, whatever, try not to use any big medical terms. But, I felt her shaking me saying, wake up. So I did. And I told her, okay, calm down. The biggest thing, trying to stay calm. Ambulance got there. For some reason, they had me walk to the stretcher or to the truck. Didn't come off the truck with the stretcher. I tried to tell the medic I couldn't get up, but she said I had to. So that will to survive and fight or flight, I was going to fight. So I managed to stand up with her assistance and my wife's assistance and started making my way to the truck. When I got to the side of the truck, I noticed that a buddy of mine that lives up the road had pulled in beside the truck. And, he was helping get me in the truck. I got up in the ambulance, got sat down on the stretcher. I unclipped one of the buckles, so the strap wouldn't be underneath me, so they wouldn't have to fight to get it. And I laid back, let them go to work. Don't argue, don't fight, just stay calm. So, again, short of breath, numb. You hear people and actors in movies talk about, this numbness comes over you, and that numbness came over me. A lot of the time I was keeping my eyes closed. I don't know why. Just keeping my eyes closed, concentrating on staying alive. And the next thing I hear is Universal Adventures NC. He had come from his house. He had heard it on the radio. He's a paramedic with the county. And just hearing his voice put a sense of calm over me. Laying there, there's 100 things that they're trying to get done as medics, EMTs, whatever. And the best thing you can do is just lay there and let them do what they have to do. So they were getting IV started. First IV went in this arm. I heard Universal Adventures say big stick, and that was my other arm. So he started an IV in this arm. I got aspirin, 4 chewable aspirin, oxygen in the nose. It's called a nasal cannula. I got my first round of nitro under the tongue, a tablet. So they continue to work, and they radio into the hospital and dispatched it, and they're on the way to the hospital. Again, I'm staying calm. If you get that nasal cannula, if you get oxygen here, the best thing you can do is in through your nose. That's the only way you're really going to get the benefits of the oxygen. So from there, they pushed some drugs, I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't remember everything. I do know I got 2 more rounds of nitro under the tongue. We arrived at the hospital. They got me into the room, and at this point, the pain had gotten worse. The pain now was in my jaw, my neck back here, coming up the back of my head, down into my shoulder blades, My shoulder and arm were killing me, but still not that crushing pain in my chest. It was a dull pain, but it hurt. It hurt tremendously. So, between myself and Universal Adventures, we're answering the questions because he and I have been friends, it seems like, for a lifetime. And he knows my medical history. He knows as much as anybody else. Normally, when we're not in a health crisis, your family member would be able to ride in and go into the room with you. Well, with what's going on in the world today, they wouldn't let anybody back there. I would have had to answer all the questions, but luckily he's a county paramedic and he was back there. The primary nurse working on me used to work for me. We worked together at convalescent transports. I'm not going to mention any names. They can come out and say if they want to, but that gave me even more reassurance because knowing the people that were working on me. For what I can tell you, people that have never had a heart attack or have had a heart attack or think you may be having a heart attack, just trust the people know what they are doing. They've gone to school for a long time. They've got experience. Just trust them. Stay calm. At this point, my blood pressure, from what I've been told, had bottomed out. My top number was 70 something. That's normally, 120 over 80 is a normal blood pressure. That's where you want to be. But nitroglycerin, what it does is it takes your veins and it opens them up real big so you can get more and more blood flow. Well, the problem there is you only have so much blood in your body. So when you take the veins that are normally about this size and you make them this big, well, it's like having a half full tank. So they were trying to get what we call fluids, IV fluids into me to bring that pressure back up because they can't give medications for pain if your blood pressure's too low. At this point, I approved the clot busting drug, and the reason you have to approve it is because if you have any type of issue with bleeding internally, this drug that they give you to save your life in a heart attack could kill you, could give you a stroke. But I'd rather, go ahead and take the chance. I had the drug one time before, had a heart attack in 13. Every heart attack is different. But anyway, they went ahead and they approved that medicine, and I believe it was in my body within 20 minutes of me first feeling the heart attack. At this point, I became super cold, uncontrollably cold, and was telling them, I'm freezing. So, they started trying to put warming blankets on me. I think Universal said that they put 4 or 5 blankets on top of me. They were putting them around my head, doing everything they could do to warm me up. But I still couldn't get any pain medicine because my blood pressure was so low. Then I started shaking uncontrollably. This is the second time in this heart attack that I felt like this might be it. Because I've seen, people talk about you get super cold when you're dying. And I was so cold that I was shaking, my teeth were chattering. It was just uncontrollable. It was almost like having a seizure. My whole body was convulsing from being cold, trying to shake itself and to warm me up. Because when you shake, that's your body trying to generate heat. So finally, they got my pressure up just enough to give a little bit of pain medicine. And in listening to everything going around, inside the room with me, they had asked me where I wanted to go. I didn't really care. There were 3 hospital options. I told them who my cardiologist was before, so they made a decision where to send me. Rex Hospital in Raleigh, and they called for the bird. Well, that's the helicopter. We call it the bird in the industry, but they called for the helicopter to airlift me. At this point, things got a little calmer. Pressure was coming up. I was warming up. I wasn't shaking as bad. They were able to get a little bit more pain meds on board. The helicopter crew arrived. They did everything they had to do to secure me. One thing they had to do was remove the pillow from behind my head, which made it super uncomfortable. Put your head back like this when you're laying on the stretcher or a bed. But the reason they had to do that is they were loading me hot. What does loading hot mean? It means they never shut the helicopter off. And anything that can go flying around or get caught in the rotors, they have to remove from the stretcher or the bed or you or whatever. But they were loading me hot. Time stands still when you feel like you're going to die. But at this point, I felt better. The helicopter was there. That imminent death feeling had gone away. Be it the narcotic pain medicines they got on board, I don't know. But that sense of, all right, everything's going to be okay. They're going to fix this. That feeling came over me. So they got me loaded on the helicopter. Bumpy ride on the way to Rex. Did get some more pain medicine. When you're on the chopper, and not many people get to ride the chopper, they put headphones on you. So, and the nurse, flight nurse, is right here beside you, and you have to communicate through hand signals. Well, you don't have any predetermined hand signals. It's not like you can prepare for this. So, what I came up with in my head was like this, saying pain. Well, I know there's a pain scale of 1 to 10. So I was able to say pain in my chest and then give her a number of what it was. And based on that, she was able to give more pain meds en route because my pressure continued to come back up as they continue to put fluids into me. Arrived at Rex, got rolled into the cath lab immediately. Then the nurses start prepping you. So you're getting IVs. They're giving you medication. But the thing about it is you stay awake. The cath lab is where they go in and they find the blockage and they blow it up with a balloon and then they put a stent in, which is a mesh that holds that area open so blood can flow again. But anyway, at this point they're prepping me for the cath. Well, the nurses, there's 2 options for where you can get a cath. One is here. It's in the radial artery, and that's where they decided to go. Still a lot of bruising to the area, but just a tiny mark where they go in with the probe and everything to do the work. The second place they can go is down here somewhere. Never looked, but it's the femoral artery. Call it femoral artery because it runs near the femur. But the biggest takeaway from this, and if you are still awake, if you go in there, is they're going to shave you in preparation for either one. So at this point, they're shaving and not manscaping. They are just shaving one side. So all this gets shaved, and this area gets shaved. Doctor comes in. For anybody that's ever had pain meds, your nose is going to start itching. My nose started itching terribly. And I'm begging the nurse because you cannot move your arms. There's nothing you can do but lay there. And I am begging the nurse to scratch my nose. She comes over as a lifesaver. and takes the blanket and scratches my nose. The doctor's talking to the nurse through the procedure, somewhat talking to me, and I can hear them. The probe's in. They've doing the procedure. The procedure's finished, and they tell you should start to feel some relief. So, and I did. At this point, I felt 1,000 times better. Could have been some of the pain medicine. Could have been, they had opened the artery back up. The heart was getting blood at this time. So, I still was sore. I'm still sore today. This is 5 or 6 days later. I've still got pain. I think I pulled a muscle through here somewhere when I was convulsing. But from there I got sent up to a room. Super nice nurses and staff, from the nursing assistants to the lab. I can't say enough positive about Rex. They did an excellent job. Wayne Memorial Hospital did an excellent job taking care of me. They were speedy, expedient, moved through. They knew what they were doing. Nothing but praise. I guess the biggest takeaway, and it'll probably be the title of this video, is stay calm. Panicking, getting excited is just going to make it worse. We're all born with a fight or flight built into us, and I'm a fighter. I've probably been in more situations throughout my life, in my fire career and just general life, than I care to admit, where I've had to choose fight or flight. I chose not to lay down and die. I chose to fight. I chose to stay in the game. It goes through your head. Your kids, your wife, your friends, your family. What about them? And all that's going through your head while you're laying there. And like I said, there were 2 times in the situation where I just thought that was it, and I had to make a mental decision and make peace. But at the same time, I was going to fight. I was going to do everything I could to survive this and share this information, so hopefully it helps someone else. I know it sounds simple by just saying stay calm, but it is the best advice I can give anyone. Just stay calm. Take a deep breath. But don't ignore the signs. A lot of people, and I'm going to sit up a little bit because of that shoulder, but a lot of people want to be in denial. They don't want to admit they're having a heart attack. Don't hesitate. It's better to call and not be having one than to not call and be having one. The rate of survival comes down to the speed of treatment. If you want to survive, you need to go ahead and get that treatment. I don't know if this light's affecting y'all. Haven't been able to play in the trailer much with everything going on, but I'm glad to be here. Lucky to be here. I recognize the signs. I didn't, a lot of people will think, well, maybe maybe I pulled a muscle. Maybe it's acid reflux. Don't ignore your body. Don't ignore the signs. I had a positive outcome. Feeling 100% better than I was that day. It takes a while to get back to normal. Right now, my heart is not functioning as well as it should. The muscle's shocked. It may come back, it may not. You follow the instructions of your doctors. I'm taking a ton of new medication. Things to thin my blood, things to keep my blood pressure low. That lets the stent, that mesh that they put in there, do its job. That stent will be with me for the rest of my life. It wasn't until I got home, and not that it would have changed anything, but I got home and my wife was reading the stent card. They give you a card. It's in the house that you carry with you in your wallet, and it identifies where your stent is located, and that's in case something else happens. Well, I can tell you nobody went through my wallet, so it wouldn't have done me any good. I'm thinking I get a tattoo here with all my medical problems, blood type, just a whole medical history on my arm. But anyway, my wife was looking at the card, and Universal Adventures had come over to check on me and was looking at it with her, and it turns out that I had a Widowmaker. The rate of survival is low, and a lot of people die from the Widowmaker. But I didn't ignore the signs. I didn't get excited. I stayed calm. My wife stayed calm. The kids, the kids are a little stressed right now. It's to be expected. Life's never the same again after a heart attack. Yeah, in time they'll grow up, and some of it will fade away. But talk to your kids, talk to your family, talk to your friends. People are going to have questions. Don't be afraid to revisit it. Don't ignore it if it ever happens again, because the odds are now that I've had two. They say what happens twice happens three times. That I'm probably going to have another one at some point. I'm not in terrible health shape. I don't eat terrible. I'm not obese. Probably got a few bad habits. But diet, exercise, do the best you can. That's what you're after. Stay active. Get outside. I'm limited right now. Can't go to work. Can't do anything. But kind of rest and sit around the house. So I appreciate all the love, support, prayers, everything that's flowing in. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Put it in the comments down below. You can email me at universalsurvivalnc@gmail.com. I'd love to help anybody that has any questions. And guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. If you go back and look at my solar panel video that I uploaded before this, when I videoed that part, I was having the heart attack. I don't see anything in the video, but my wife says I look pale. So who knows? Again, glad to be here. Thankful for everyone that helped me be here. And we'll see you on the next one.